Tim Hasselbeck, with me in studio. You got a touchscreen on Rodgers and some of the issues the Steelers dealt with. Let's table that for a moment and talk Chargers. They got the win here. And they're going to struggle with an issue on their O-line because it started before the season when they lost Slater and then they lose Alt. What are they doing well to find some offense in the absence of their best offensive lineman?
Well, the first thing they're doing is they're staying committed to the run game. So, it's easier for backup offensive linemen to run the football, be run blockers, than it is to be pass blockers. The biggest matchup issues you have in the National Football League are edge rushers on tackles. So right off the bat, running the football is going to help them. The other thing is they're creative with some of the things they do on early down play action, where a lot of people will say, well, hey, don't block edge rushers with fullbacks and tight ends. But if you're running the football well, you can, because those guys have to play the run. So by doing that, I think it's helping, it's helping. Listen, Herbert's under siege. And I think ultimately that's going to be their biggest hurdle, going into the postseason, is that you're going to face great edge rushers that can close out games. And if you can't hold up on the edge, you can only be so creative.
Right, so it's not that it's smoke and mirrors. It's just that eventually that's going to be a hard recipe to find success with as you move deeper in against the very best teams.
Listen, they say the biggest matchup problems are these freak edge rushers. Think of like the TJ Watt type guys, okay? And guys, quite honestly, that, wore T-shirts to the swimming pool in the summertime.
The big guys.
Yes.
Understood. But they're going to run it because Harbaugh's their coach. All right, I mentioned Rodgers. I know you got a touchscreen here that can illustrate some of the issues they had. They actually missed a kick, which never happens. They lose a turnover battle. Our buddy Bill Barnwell said that's their recipe. If they miss a kick and they lose a turnover battle, they kind of have a narrow window, and they didn't win tonight because what?
Yeah, I think Aaron tries to do too much. Like you had, in the highlight, the safety he takes. It's a bad play. I'm going to take you down into the red zone. They're down 12 points here, okay? They're running inside zone. So basically everybody is coming right. We got Warren coming right. But now on the back side of this, he's got one of these now slants. Well, that's only going to be open if Bud Dupree, this defender here, rushes. Well, Aaron ends up pulling this, and Dupree ends up being right in his throwing lane. The shame of it is, and you can see it right now, had he handed the football off, things are blocked kind of perfectly for Warren there. So on 2nd and 6, just hand the football off, run the play that's called. Now he throws an incomplete pass on 3rd down, a ball he should have hit, and now it's 4th down. I get it. Everyone wants to get the ball to DK Metcalf, throw him the fade, all that stuff. But versus cloud coverage, which you end up getting here, you have a corner and a safety up over the top. That's your double. That's the only double that's happening. So now you can look at this bunch at the bottom of the screen, because as you play this forward, you're going to clearly see the double up top. So the fade should be dead. Your single really ends up being on Freiermuth right here. Look at him win inside.
Yep.
Like that was your chance for the 1st down. So I just think that there are things that Aaron was doing tonight that were really just outside the design of the offense. Maybe once upon a time that was fine. I think in this Steelers offense, with the way they want to play defense, the way they want to run the football, they don't need him to go be the hero down in the red zone. I think they need him to kind of do the things that are being called kind of in a basic play inside the structure of the offense type of way.
And now, kind enough to join us here, Ladd, hey, it's Scott Van Pelt. Welcome to the show for the first time, man. I appreciate you joining me. These Sunday night standalone games, everybody's watching. What do you feel like you guys showed tonight as your offensive line continues to be in flux and you guys are figuring it out on the fly?
Yeah, I feel like we were banged up front, and people were writing us off. Didn't know what we were going to do, how we were going to respond. I feel like those guys showed up huge tonight.
I don't know if writing it off is necessarily true, but I know Tim Hasselbeck and I were showing just that I think you do have to be creative, right? That's fair. When you lose a guy like Alt after you lose a guy like Slater, clearly you're not the same team. So is it a matter, Ladd, of just figuring out different ways to approach game plans?
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like those guys are so special. There's not like a single guy that can then replace them. Everybody else has to step up. We can get some chips on the edges, quick game, get the run game going, screens, and then take our shots when we need to.
Ladd, when you caught that 3rd and 6 and got loose for a second, were you thinking, I'm about to get my second? Did you feel like the end zone was in sight, but you had a guy in your rear view?
I'm upset. I think I should have scored. I need to go watch the film, see what I should have done. But Man, I thought I had it for a second, but he made a great play, made a great angle, so I don't know. We'll have to look at it.
Yeah. Hey, Ladd, when you guys have film, right? I don't know what day it is, but whenever, I mean, maybe you get victory Monday or you don't come back to Wednesday, whatever the case. When you're in film and everybody's like, all right, Jalen Ramsey caught you, like how much crap do you take from everybody? I already know.
Oh, man. I got some crap on the sideline already, but he's a great athlete. I mean, he's fast. But we'll have to see it. He took an angle. I probably should have just kept running, but I'm glad we got the win. Glad Kamani was able to punch it in there.
No doubt. Big smile on your face and a big smile on Keenan Allen's face late after that little pop. And Antonio Gates is in the building. That's Chargers royalty. And he's now the all-time leader. And I've known him for years. I saw him at the Pro Bowl recently. I said, what's the game plan? He said, I'm going to ride until the wheels fall off. But those wheels are still spinning, Ladd. He's still got a lot of excellent play in his bag, so to speak. To see him get that, what's that like for not just for him, but for your entire group, Ladd?
Yeah, he's got a ton of juice. I told him, I was like, man, you can do this for 10 more years. But no, he's been huge. Just being like his presence in our room, being a leader. He's been around this league. He's made so many great plays. So for me personally, it's huge to have, and I'm so lucky that he came back and played with us this year. Yeah,
I'm interested in that because, I mean, obviously you're just beginning a career, and here's a guy that's done it at an incredibly high level for a long, long time. Is there a specific thing, whether it's the way he leads by example, whether it's something specific with routes? I mean, could you share with me something that I would understand about how he's helped you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously his routes, but I think the thing that sticks out for me is his confidence, the way that he just approaches the game. Whether, things might not go the right way the first quarter or whatever, but when it's crunch time and he's got to make a play, Keenan Allen always steps up. So I strive to be like him in that way.
I always love to ask the guys that are proud alums sort of if they got their eye on the fellas back in wherever they might be from. In your case, Athens. You got Texas coming to town. You got Georgia actually had a more comfortable victory. I always send Kirby a note. I'm like, you guys mess around and make it dramatic, man. You had an easy one, so to speak, this week. How much conversation goes on with you and the guys back there, or you and the guys in the room that might be from the schools that you're playing against? I have to imagine there's a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC every week is tough. But kudos to them. They found a way to win every single week. And I keep up with those guys. Whether I'm in meetings or whatever, we're usually in meetings when they're playing. So I have my phone down, trying to watch the game, keep up with them. But go Dogs this week and horns down.
Heck yeah. Well, you're making them proud with how you're continuing to do your thing at this level. Congrats on the touchdown, and good luck in film when they give you crap. Hey, Ramsey's still got game. I mean, what are you going to do? Congrats, though, on a big night. I appreciate you throwing the headset on, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I'll be on my sprints on Monday.
There you go. And now we pivot back to the East and those highlights that I was showing. It's Buffalo and Miami. And we've covered that Buffalo beating Kansas City. Yeah. Cool. Regular season. Great. But my big thing this year has been, what do you put on tape? What do you show you're capable of in your worst moments? To lose to this team after you beat Kansas City, what's most alarming about that for Buffalo?
Well, I think because what the expectations are and what that is. Look, they've lost to Atlanta and now the Miami Dolphins. And really, I think what was most alarming today wasn't all that competitive. It just didn't feel like they were ready to play. Kind of good example. Running a mesh rail concept, pretty simple. You're expecting man coverage. You want man coverage. They get zoned, so you can still end up, finding a completion. The rail's not there. Should end up seeing the shallow cross coming to meet the rail. Gets past it quickly, and now all of a sudden it's just kind of a waste of play. Then it's third down. You're getting blitzed. Okay, Josh kind of made a comment about this after the game about being better in the protection game. Well, they blitz the protection. Throw the hot right now to Dawson Knox. Get the ball out of your hand. See if you can run for the first down. Instead, hold the football, end up taking a sack. Then you get into another situation. Now, this is just outside the quarterback. I believe it's Ty Johnson in the backfield. The line is sliding away from him, the back on the linebacker. He just doesn't pick him up. Like, that's his protection responsibility. Quarterback gets hit, inaccurate ball. They just didn't look ready. And I think, Scott, that's kind of to your point of, like, championship teams always look ready. Like, they might win an ugly game, and they could lose games, all that stuff could happen. But they just didn't seem ready to play, ready to compete. And that just felt like it was out of character for the Bills. But then when you look at the Atlanta game and you look at that game, I don't know. Is it fair to keep saying it's out of character for them, or is that possibly what they can give you on a Sunday?
The older I get, the more I think people are just human beings and human nature sleeps.
Yep.
And you've seen Miami put some really lousy tape out there, and you figure we're probably going to be able to go down there and just win this game. And to Miami's credit, they battled their butts off, and they played an excellent football. They earned the right to be celebrated in those bins in their locker room. Tampa Bay earned the right to celebrate the Patriots earned the right to celebrate in Tampa Bay. What do you think it is about that group in total that makes them really dangerous?
I think they're really well coached. We've talked about it kind of all season. Vrabel's awesome. You pointed out in the highlight of just how he handled the end of the half situation. I also think when you got Josh McDaniels as your play caller, he's a proven play caller. Proven play callers on 3rd and 10, when you don't want to have to deal with Todd Bowles' junk, can run the football because they're not really worried about, hey, what's my next coaching job? It's really just a pin and pull concept because you got everybody walked up in there. Hunter Henry blocks down. You get the big tackle out on the edge. And that's a 15-yard game on 3rd and 10.
But that's such a big deal that you make, and it's a subtle point. But when a guy he's a vet, and he's not worried about what he's going to do next year if it doesn't work, like that really can play into a 3rd and 10 toss call.
Yeah, and the idea of, look, I'm an established play caller. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to have the head coach going, what are we doing on 3rd and 10? It's the first quarter, 3rd and 10. We just ran the football. But I just sometimes when you face these defenses that like to junk it up against you, the confidence of just saying, look, we're going to run it on it. And maybe we'll split a few of them and we'll get them out of it.
I'm looking at the Pats' next 3. It's Jets, Bengals, and Giants. And then they get to their bye. And then Buffalo, who they already beat, comes there. On the way out here for this segment, who do you like in the AFC East?
Right now with the schedule and already the lead, New England.
Can you imagine if late August I tell you you're going to say that, you'd never believe it, would you?
No, not with what the Bills had going on.
Right. You know I refuse to quit on this Baltimore team, and it was however long ago that the point was they're going to get healthy, they'll come out of their bye, and when they do, it's going to look something like this. What stands out to you about the manner in which they won on the road against Minnesota?
I think there are a lot of things, and I would agree with you. The leadership of that team, I think, was probably too strong to be like, hey, it's over right now when we know help is on the way. But I think when you look at them offensively, when they get Lamar Jackson back, that's a big deal, right? Like even if he's not totally healthy and maybe still nursing his hamstring, his development in the pocket as a passer over the last 3 years has been remarkable. And really he played against a very good defense that's extremely aggressive. He played well from inside the pocket. So I think that, in and of itself is a lift to the football team. And it's an impressive win to go into Minnesota and win the way they did.
Right, he wasn't spectacular, but it's the collective. It's all 3 phases, and they win the football game. I've already mentioned Bengals, in advance of the Pittsburgh game. I wasn't going to quit on a month and whatever ago. Now I'm even more resolute. Who do you like to win the North?
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore, for sure. When you look at their schedule, coming off the heels of just watching Pittsburgh struggle again offensively. But you mentioned the help on the way. We're talking about just really good players. Kyle Hamilton back in the lineup. And then, when I reference the leadership, guys like Van Noy and Roquan Smith, Hamilton, leadership of Harbaugh, that matters when you face adversity at some point in the season.
And the thing about that group collectively is when things go wrong, it's not a place where dudes point their fingers and it manifests into something bigger. I just appreciate that. I think that was as much as anything. And also, it's a big deal when number 8's back.
Yes, he's helpful.
Yeah. Playoffs start Friday in Tennessee?
For us, yeah. We've already, this past Friday, had a bye week.
Well, I understand that, but for you, they start Friday.
For us, they do.
A wise man once said, draw a line and crawl across it.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how wise he was.
Keep that in mind. We'll see you soon.